I just got done building my home with D.R. Horton, the nation's largest new construction home builder right here in Vero Beach. In this video, I'm gonna go over my experience with D.R. Horton and the pros and cons I had building my home with them. I'm a real estate agent here on Florida's East Coast, and I'd love to help you in your home search. With that being said, let's get right into the video. Okay, so starting off, I started my home search in the beginning of 2023 when interest rates were floating around 7%. First, I started looking at resale homes around $325,000 since that is what I was approved for when I was looking for a resale home. In January, I put in a full price $325,000 offer on a property that was a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home with 1,350 square feet. However, I, like many in this crazy market, was outbid and the house went for over asking price. I felt gutted, I felt defeated, and for the first time, I felt the disappointment and the uncertainty that some of my buyer clients have felt, and needless to say, it was humbling. It was at that time where I took a step back, I extended my timeline, and I started looking at other options. I had always had new construction in the back of my mind, but I thought I wouldn't get approved for it because most of the new construction started around $350 and I only got approved for $325 when buying resale homes. It was at that time where I had a fantastic conversation with my mortgage lender, and she really informed me that with the builder's special interest rates, lower insurance costs, and with a closing cost credit, I would be able to afford and get approved for much more when buying a new construction home when compared to a resale home. Shortly after our conversation, I got approved for $350, and just like that, I started diving into the world of new construction. About 2 weeks after I got approved for $350, I got informed by a D.R. Horton rep that they were planning to build a Cali model home on a vacant lot here in Vero Beach. It was everything I really was looking for. It was the perfect location, the perfect floor plan that I wanted, and it was in the price range I wanted. So needless to say, I drove down and I bought it that day. I was able to buy the Cali model from D.R. Horton, which is a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom home that has 1,828 square feet, and it cost me $343,000. The home sits on a 1/4 acre and has a canal and preserve in the back. I built on a spot lot here in Vero Beach Highlands off Sunrise Drive, which means it's in a non-gated, non-HOA community. Compared to the home that I put an offer on at $325, this new construction home had 500 extra square feet, an extra bedroom. It was on a 1/4 acre instead of 0.17 acres. It was built in 2023 instead of 2005. And like I said, it backed up to a preserve. So one would think that that 1,300 square foot home that I got outbid on would have a smaller monthly payment than the new construction home that I just bought, right? Well, there's where you'd be mistaken. And that's the main reason why I ultimately chose to go with new construction. D.R. Horton often offers special interest rates if you use their in-house lender, DHI Mortgage. With DHI Mortgage, I was able to get a 4.99% interest rate when rates were floating around 7%. Keep in mind that for every 1% of interest rate that you can save, your payment will go down by hundreds of dollars per month. So for me, getting a 2% lower interest rate was gonna save me anywhere from $450 to $550 a month in just interest, or roughly $5,000 to $6,000 less in interest payments per year. Over the life of my 30-year loan, that equates to $150,000 less in interest that I will have to pay, which is incredible. In addition, they also contributed $18,000 towards my closing costs. If you can believe it or not, I'm only out of pocket roughly $10,000 for this home, and that was the initial $10,000 deposit that you have to make when you purchase the home to hold the contract. In addition, when buying a new construction home, you'll have a lot more options when it comes to insurance. And if you know anything about Florida and their insurance here, you know that it's a mess and it's terrible, and there's not a lot of carriers that you can go through. I was able to get a $1,500 insurance policy through one of Florida's top insurance providers, Frontline. Keep in mind, you can go with other insurance companies that are cheaper, but they cover less, so you get what you pay for. The lowest insurance I got quoted for, I believe, was around $950 per year. On top of that, everything in your new house is going to be brand new. From your roof to your flooring to your countertops to your appliances, you won't have to worry about fixing them or having insurance issues for your roof or anything like that for a very long time. Now, admittedly, not everything is all sunshines and rainbows when it comes to buying a new construction home, and there definitely were some hiccups throughout my process that made it a little bit more frustrating. Let me explain. Originally, this home here, they estimated to be done September 15th. Around halfway through the building process, they were making actually really good time. And to our excitement, they moved up that estimated completion date to August 1st, my birthday. What better day than to move in on your brand new home on your birthday? Once they got to the stage that they needed to connect power to the home, Florida Power and Light took 5 weeks to connect my home to power, which pushed back the completion date all the way to October. On top of that, a berm needed to be redone in my backyard, which pushed out the completion date a week further, so we ended up closing October 16th. So we went from planning to move into our home August 1st to actually moving into the home October 16th. If you're buying on a spot lot, this is absolutely something that you need to consider before you buy. It's a little bit different if you're building in an HOA or in a community, a gated community, because it's very streamlined. But if you're buying a new construction home on a spot lot like I did, you definitely have to consider that potential delay. For me, this delay wasn't a huge deal since I had family in the area to stay with. I can only imagine if I was out of state and I planned movers and everything for August 1st, only to have it close 2.5 months later. We were so excited to get into our new home, so that last 2.5 months really mentally drained us because we were already checked out and ready to move from our family's place. Another hiccup was with my mortgage lender. To get that special interest like I was talking about earlier in the video and that $18,000 in closing cost credit, you have to go with their mortgage, DHI Mortgage. During the process, my original loan officer either got fired or quit, but either way, they were no longer working with the company. My file was supposed to get transferred to another loan officer to take over, but it wasn't. So there was a good month or two that I didn't hear anything from my loan officer and I was in the dark. I finally talked to other D.R. Horton representatives and told them what was going on, and they figured out that she was no longer working for the company, and only then did I get a message from my new loan officer. Silver lining to this was my new loan officer named John was really awesome. He was always looking out for my best interests and he was always on the ball. I was also disappointed a little bit with the lack of customization options I got because I bought on a spot lot. The buying process for spot lots is a little different compared to the buying process for new construction homes in a gated community or HOA communities. With spot lots, D.R. Horton has already ordered the materials specifically for this one specific build, so I really had zero options when it came to customizing furnishings, tile, countertops, etc. When buying in an HOA community, a lot of times you have tons more customization options and the building process is a lot more streamlined. So with no customization options, my house came with tile in the main living area and carpet in the bedrooms and Formica countertops throughout. For me, this worked for my budget, but I know that there's others that they're gonna want those options when it comes to upgrades. You're talking granite, marble countertops, different tile, and things like that. And that is really not something you can get with D.R. Horton on a spot lot. One thing I was able to change was the paint color of the outside of my house. I went with the tan color for the exterior and the black paint for the accents on the door and the shutters. Another inconvenience when buying a new construction home would be that it comes completely unfurnished. And that might sound like, oh yeah, duh, but when I say completely unfurnished, I mean completely unfurnished. Not only will you need common furniture such as couches, tables, chairs, beds, etc., you will also need to buy extra items such as light fixtures, fans, blinds, curtains, and I'm talking everything. And I don't know if you've been home decor shopping, but the prices are ridiculous. For a fan, it cost me $170, and for each blind, it cost $180. So just to get lights and a little bit of privacy in each room, it was $350 each room. So in total, I spent $1,400 in just fans and blinds. Another thing you'll want to do is paint the interior of your home because it comes in a blank color called shell white. They do this to lower costs and give you the option to paint whatever interior color you want. I and my wife were able to paint the main living areas a beige color, but if you're not able to do that, know that you're gonna have to hire that out, and it's probably gonna cost you a few $1,000s. In addition, most of these D.R. Horton homes that are on spot lots don't come with a washer, dryer, or refrigerator, so plan to budget for that. The appliance package really depends on the community that you build in. Some other very little things that were just a little frustrating was for some reason my door was painted brown instead of black like I wanted, and it was that really gross color that looks like you know what. Needless to say, I had them change that immediately. Lastly, I thought that the communication between myself, the reps, the title company, and the mortgage company could have been a little bit better. Even with these inconveniences, overall, I'm extremely happy with my new construction home. Compared to buying a resale home, it just doesn't make any sense. If I were to find a replica of this exact house on the market today, I'd be looking at paying upwards of $400K or more with an 8% interest rate. So right away, it's nice to know that I have a little bit of equity in my home and that if anything ever did go wrong, I could always sell and make a quick buck. You know, I always tell people if you have the luxury of time and patience, I would always recommend or at least consider buying a new construction home. You're gonna pay significantly less compared to a resale home. You're gonna have a discounted interest rate. You're gonna have all your closing costs paid for, and you're gonna have a brand new home that you won't have to worry about for years to come. So everyone, that was my experience building with D.R. Horton. I hope that this video was valuable and gave you some insight on how the process is done and overall what to expect. If you have any other questions, like I said earlier in the video, please do not hesitate to reach out. I would absolutely love to help you in your home search. YouTube clients are my favorite clients and I love working with them. So like I said, don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. That does it for me, everyone here in Vero Beach. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care.